what I want to address this morning. Forgive my garb, I've been in the kitchen. Had a good breakfast. I think I got all my nutrition in me. That is a job. And it's a job I like to do. And Lorraine is getting fed quite well. She's got quite a dish this morning herself. She gets a little bit of beef bacon, a little bit of apple in there too, which she loves, along with her regular food. And another product that advertises on the radio, but I don't represent them. Anyway, forgive me as I'm, just enjoying the comfort of having good food, being fairly warm on a cold morning. Okay, she's not used to dealing with the dish on a box, and I prefer to have a dog feeding from an elevated bowl and drinking from an elevated bowl so their necks don't have to stretch too much and they don't get down on the floor all the time. And she got the doggone bowl off the box little pedestal it was on and wedged under the edge of the bathroom door there. Look, what I want to tell you about is I think there's only one thing we can do as far as this public school system goes, and that's just stop it. Stop it completely. Let's not argue with the fools. That makes us fools too. Let's just tell them to go to hell, that we don't want to fund their schools anymore. No more taxes for their horrible schools that do such a horrible job. Fire all the damn teachers. I don't want any more school zones. I want to be able to drive freely. If you can't teach your little brats how to look both ways, then let them be sorted out in traffic. Let nature take its course. If you cannot control your children enough to get them to stop and look both ways before crossing a road, then maybe they're just dumbasses and we want to get rid of them. Using Darwin's theory, if you will. Look, folks, I'm tired of it. I don't want anything to do with these schools. And I've got 5 degrees. I did not consider myself educated till we read the Bible. So what do I suggest you do? Pull your kid out of school. Buy the best version of the Bible available. Yeah, I'm going to hawk my wares right now. That one link down below this video, you'll see on that page there's a drop-down box with 5 different formats available. Buy one of those Bibles and have your child read that Bible. Have them read it aloud to you. Make it easy on yourself. You need to know it as well. And the child's going to have questions anyway, some of which you won't be able to answer, and many of which you will be able to answer. And some of those you'll be able to sort out between the two of you, and that's going to be a good time for you, believe me. That's quality time. So I just as soon not argue about what this reading hour at the library where they have these queers dressed up in drag to confuse the children and to throw them off kilter. Children already have questions about their identity and sexuality anyway. It's a natural part of growing up, that you grow up wondering what you are, what the differences are. I mean, you're curious, and that's natural and innocent. But when you throw in the drag queen reading hour, the child is confused, exploited, stressed, strained. Don't do that to the children. Don't let them do that to the children. Just tell them, we're done. You're not educating my children. I'm not exposing them to you. And don't do it. Get rid of these central education systems. You need to know the teacher yourself if you're a parent. You need to be able to hire and fire that teacher at your will. Not as some school districts will, where you have these ungodly processes you have to go through while the libtards defend another libtard, while a commie defends another commie, while they screw your children over school system. I don't think we should fight with them at all. We cannot reform it. Let's just put it to sleep. Let's be done with it. I don't want any more state involvement in any of these education systems because the federal government ends up breeding little budding communists. Kids that have no respect, kids that are so self-centered that they don't get out of your way. They don't try to make way for their people. But that's the way the country is at large today. So many people don't look out for the other guy, don't try to share the road, or even walk on the same walks together. You're going to New York City, you'll know what I mean. It is like combat pedestrian time. I give up on the public schools. I give up on higher education. They changed our books. They changed the terms on us. They hide the research on us. They censor the literature to hide the fact that they are evil and they walk among us freely and they take advantage of us. They keep us in the dark. They've been doing it for thousands of years. Let's pull a plug on them. Let's not give them the time of day. Let's not mix with them. Let's not intermix with the libtards. Let's not have a damn thing to do with them. Let them go find their own damn neighborhoods. Leave them alone. Don't do any business with them. Why? Because they preach tolerance until they become established, and then they go after your ass. No, they don't tolerate your views, do they? They don't tolerate your values, do they? They have absolutely no respect for you. They're never going to. You cannot satisfy them, so come out from among them. Don't partake in their bullshit. Don't participate even in arguing with them. Just tell them, hey, we're done. See you later. Don't even bother going on their school boards. It's not worth it. It's just not worth it anymore. Let's pull the plug on them. Let's be done with them. They've done a horrible job educating our people. Look at how the kids have turned out. Look at how many of them are budding socialists and communists. They don't even know what's going on with this country. And if you can identify the type of government you have, then you're ahead of most people. But most people don't realize you're living in a dictatorship and you are enslaved fully. In case you're wondering who's holding the reins over you, it's been the throne of England the whole time. They've never given us free rein. They've never let us go. They've been lording it over us through all kinds of means for a long time. And they actually control most of the world right now. They're very shrewd. Anyway, I don't really want to go off on a tangent this morning. I want to focus on one thing, and that is let's do away with the public school system. Let's do away with being taxed. Let's do away with taxation without representation. Let's not have big industrial schools that hurt our kids, harm our kids, that expose our kids to confusing stimuli. That's what that stuff is. And they're going to say, well, you have to do that because we have to respect the child's wishes and wants and desires. Look, the child is going to play all kinds of stuff. They're going to try on all kinds of roles. They're going to wonder what the other genders like, what other races are like. They're going to wonder what other people who speak other languages are like. That's okay. That's natural. But to throw this stimuli at them and to groom them, to groom them for sex trafficking and promiscuity, don't do that. There's no need for it. They're curious enough. They'll discover things. Let them do it on their own. Let them have their innocence, a period of innocence. Let them develop naturally on their own. And all this gay crap where they're going to say, well, we got to help the child sort themselves out. We have to ask them what they are and what they want to be when they're in kindergarten. Hogwash. Parents, you need to protect your children. They're not going to stop. The only way they're going to stop is if you say, hasta la vista, bye-bye, baby. We are not going to your schools anymore. We're not going to participate. And not only that, don't tax my land anymore. We don't want to contribute whatsoever to your causes. Not at all. There's no excuse for their poor performance. And there's no compromise possible. They don't accept it. They're going to undermine you and undermine your children every which way they can. And in case you're wondering, 7 years from now, there is going to be a huge bump in suicides among teenagers. And then 7 years beyond that group that survives their teenage years going to be offing themselves in their early 20s, their early adulthood. How does Dr. Kent know that stuff? I do a lot of reading. I paid attention to the experiments that they pulled in the 50s and 60s, and you can go look that stuff up yourself and go read it. I think his name was Eddie Money, a psychologist that decided boys and girls, it's just a matter of how you rear them. And he pulled some really weird experiments, and look at the results. 50% suicide rate. Yeah, I'd call that a success, wouldn't you? Oh, hell no. Not when a child kills themselves, not when they destroy themselves. So that's what you're going to do to your children if you let these perverts rule the roost, if you let these out of your tolerance, if you let this happen. You need to understand something. They were fine when they were in the closet. I'm not saying we should be beating them or any of that. I don't agree with that. You know, I think they've got some confusion. I think they've got some problems. And I don't think all of us are born the same. Some of it's actual due to the births. Some of it's due to the environment and the toxins and chemicals that we have in our environments as well. And a lot of it is due to the confusion that adults visit upon them, because we want to be sure to abide by the child's wishes and wants. Come on. The children don't know what they want. They need a safe place in which to grow up. And you're failing to give them a safe place. Take them out of those public schools. Take the public school system apart. There is no right to a free education. Not only that, but no government that gives you a free education will ever educate you in a manner that will cause you to have real freedom, that will cause you to be able to think on your own 2 feet, that will allow you to be independent and free. All right, that's enough for the land of the free, the home of the slaves. Yeah, that's how the Asiatics look at the society. And you think, well, we're better than they are, and they're all envious and jealous. Oh, no. They like their cultures. Believe me, the people in Siam and Thailand really love their monarchy. Maybe not all of them, but most of them do. They love their cultures. They love their social orders. They love the old art. They love their history, the stories. So let's let them be, folks. Let's stop trying to standardize everything across the planet. And if we really want diversity, let's give the states back their rights completely. Can you imagine if one state decides we're going to go one direction in our laws regarding abortion and another state says we're going in another direction? Okay, fine. Let's let them do that. Let's be tolerant of that. And at the end of a decade, we can compare notes and see which works better. At the end of 2 decades, we should even have better data in. And right now, the way the society is going, you have an explosion in the incarceration of females. You've had an explosion in the incarceration of males, and that was socially engineered in. That's engineered into your family court system. You got some real screw-ups that have been dominating that. We have the data in on male children. We don't have the data in on female children, but believe me, ladies, if you knew the fate of your daughters by being reared fatherlessly, how bad it was going to be for them, you would demand to fathers, you'll take my daughters too. You see, fathering matters. It's much more important than mothering. Yes, you give them a start. You have quite a job. We men can't do that at all. But we're the ones that put the finishing touches and civilize the children. We're the ones that keep them out of trouble throughout their lives. Fatherless parenting causes criminality. And your school system is just another form of institutionalization to get your children ready for the prisons. Because that's all your schools are today. It's just doing time. You know, it's prison system. The old school days in this country, what we used to have was an open classroom of all ages, all different talents. And they would be able to advance at their own pace. Then that's how come you ended up with people going to college at age 14 or 15. Today, everything's been downgraded. The high school education isn't worth what a sixth grade education was worth probably 100 years ago. And your college education certainly wasn't as good as a high school graduate was doing 100 years ago. And you didn't have many doctorates, but you didn't have bullshit doctorates either, in which people research stuff that, basically as long as you do a liberal topic, they're happy with you now. They won't allow individual thought. We don't have great minds being produced in America anymore. That's what I see. Yeah, what do I know? I'm just an old man. I grew up in the golden era of this country in a family that was involved in the military. So I saw the most conservative part. I saw the best part. Most of you people have no idea what this nation was. You have no idea how we held things together and how well integrated we were. By God, we had to be home when the streetlights came on. And another thing is that any adult anywhere had authority over us. And if they caught us doing something wrong, they could do what they want. Not only that, by the time we got home, we were in worse trouble. We don't have that anymore. We're not supporting families and parenting. We're not supporting married couples anymore. We do our best to claw one away from the other. What kind of bullshit is that? I mean, there's nothing greater than the stability of having men and women happily married and enjoying their company together. And when I see these old couples, and I mean older than I am, together, they don't go anywhere without each other. And I admire them because they have got true love and companionship all the way to the end. They're there for each other. Did you know most of you watching this video will be dying alone? Yes, that's increasing. That's the way it's going to be. It was set up by our keepers, our masters, to destroy this nation. They had to go after the family first. I think they did a good job. What about you? May Yahweh bless America. May Yahweh make America good again. Do away with the public school system, folks. Throw off their yoke. Give your children a chance. Give them a future. Give them a safe place. Let them have the time of innocence that's naturally theirs. Yahweh bless.